Hello everyone, I am Dr. Komalalakshmi, Academic Coordinator, Indira Gandhi College of Special Education, Kanuvai, Coimbatore, India. I would like to thank Dr. T. Dorairaj, Chairman, Mary Kanagam Memorial Educational Trust, and 17th International Conference on Neurology and Spine Disorder. First of all, I am a teacher and I would like to concentrate on mental development, physical development and intellectual development. The overall development, the child should know about his body, mind and intellect. So this mind pedagogy plays a crucial role in education. So my research topic is an innovative design thinking KLMN SWASTIK model that develops Mentalligence in students using mind pedagogy. So the present scenario gives bitterness and then it damages the mental health, and happiness that constructs the mental health. So that mind pedagogy is studied in my research paper. Now, I have analyzed and counseled many students and children, and I found that the present scenario environment giving inputs to the nurturing of every child. The platform, the social background, the family background, the economic status, the relationship, the family, everything contributes the nurturing of a child. So I decide that what is it contributes for that upbringing of a particular child. So the human chromosomes during birth it is fixed, and we have 23 set of pairs, one from father and 123 from mother. So among these, I understand that there are some dynamic nerves also. Though the 46 set of chromosomes are static and hereditarily we are deriving through our parents, some chromosomes are dynamic in nature. So that chromosome helps a child to grow and develop and nurture into a man of vision in future. So we have to identify that chromosome, and I have given that name, that VEPDN nerve. And if we find that nerve, and we have to give proper treatment through medicine, and we can educate so that we can give visionary inputs to that nerve that transforms the child as a next generation contributor. So educating the humanity oriented knowledge from the contributions of our nature and our ancestors, and making the child to realize their contributions so that it helps them to nurture into a good human, so that he can preserve the habitat and the humanity in next generation. I call that nerve as VEPDN nerve. This is an acronym: V volatile, E erasable, P programmable, D dynamic, N nerve. VEPDN. So we have to use the new model KLMN SWASTIK. K knowing, L learning, M mind mapping, N new or no contributing. SWASTIK is a tetra-shaped design thinking for man-making education process, KLMN. So that is that nerve is affected by the present scenario environment. It causes the bitterness. So we have to identify that, and we have to remove the bitterness that is, it is erasable, and we have to cultivate the willingness or happiness in the child. So that is, it is programmable. So this erasable and programmable makes that particular nerve as a volatile dynamic nerve. So when the child is growing with bitterness, it obviously does not contribute anything to himself and to others. So we have to change that KLMN already developed because of that bitterness, and we have to reschedule it, and we have to cultivate new willingness and happiness, so that the child will use that KLMN for new contribution, happy contribution to the society and to the nation. We have to identify this particular nerve. Uh, the bitterness can be removed and the willingness can be cultivated. It can be done through medical treatments clinically, or through the food, or through the education, or we can change the environment that may bring a positive change in the healthy growth of that particular nerve. So this is the data science of man making education process. That nerve may connect the heart and the brain. That nerve carries the energy from the heart to brain. So that energy generated from heart portal is carried to the brain portal, and the spinal cord acts as an intermediator or a carrier to transmit the energy, and this energy is the divine energy. It gives the better contribution for the upbringing of that particular child. Through education, we can give proper visionary inputs, and we can bring the mental development in that particular child. The mind pedagogy can be used to bring changes in the growth and development of the child. So it helps for character building, personality development, and the better transformation in the child. Now I am introducing the new innovative design thinking educational model, KLMN SWASTIK. So the inputs, the child can get the inputs from 5 sources. So one is from the parents, from the teachers, and the digital society, and the child can see the environment, and the nature can also contribute for the growth and development of that particular child. Now the child may get the willingness, or the child may get the bitterness because of that particular input. It may affect the nurturing of that child. So this KLMN Swastik logo, I have described the child as a lamp. If the child gets the proper visionary inputs, which is helpful in bringing the happiness and the healthy upbringing of the child, then it is a lit lamp. And if the lamp without light is there, means the child is suffering from bitterness, and it doesn't get proper healthy input from all the other domains. So in such case, we have to use that contribution part. So we have to teach the child, we have to touch the child. Instead of teaching, we have to touch the heart of the child. So how the peoples are contributing besides their bitterness, how do they took the challenges to construct their positive thinking. So these are all the things we can use to touch the child, so that the child can imbibe the taking charge attitude and willingness, and he himself transform that no contribution part that was the outcome earlier due to the bad input or unhealthy input, and now the child is transformed to contribute better, a new contributing child, which is the healthy input. So this transformation can be possible only when we remove the bitterness, the no contribution part that affects the growth and development of the child, and we have to cultivate the willingness so that the child will transform into a noble man with visionary in thoughts and contribute better to the world. How we can teach this KLMN SWASTIK to children is the implementation part. Every student should be taught about body, mind and intellect. The body, as the child knew, it undergoes the physiological transformation or changes as age grows, and the proper food, healthy food, which we have to take for the growth and development. The unhealthy, poisonous food should also be taught so that the child will not take that unhealthy input. Number 2, through intellect, the child is taught which education he has to complete, for which he has to contribute how much, or for which he has to contribute that much effort. All these things are analyzed, and that particular proper education is given to that particular input. The unhealthy inputs for that intellect are prevented. Similarly, for mind also, the healthy inputs and unhealthy inputs are given. The child should be able to know the two different dual inputs, which is healthy and not healthy. That healthy inputs to body, mind, intellect, the child should know the variety of choices, and the child should acquire the knowledge of getting that healthy inputs to all the three domains. So the child should know the healthy, unhealthy inputs to all the three domains, and the child should learn the healthy, unhealthy inputs, and then the child should mind map the side effects or the outputs of every healthy input and unhealthy input. So if it is an unhealthy input comes to this mind map part, then the child is not able to proceed further, and it becomes no contribution part of that particular input. So now this is the case, we have to use that KLMN SWASTIK, and we should make the child aware about that unhealthy input only makes the child to block at any point of time. So we have to remove that block, we have to either ignore it, we have to delete it, and we have to take rest due to that process of removal or deleting or clearing of unwanted unhealthy inputs. Then again the child is given, after the proper time interval of rest, it should be given a nutritious healthy input from the beginning, so that the child will be able to contribute much better. So this is the implementation part, and this outcome makes the child to grow into a noble man of vision. So the duality of healthy and unhealthy principles, and the duality of the healthy and unhealthy outputs must be made known to the students, and the students are able to analyze the variety of choices to change from no contribution unhealthy input to new contributing healthy input. So this is the implementation part. This is the data science of man-making education process. The mental data, the emotional data, the physical data. All the three data should be made known to the student, and the energy the child is getting from the body is a physical energy, and the energy the child is getting from the mind. The thought is the mental energy, I call it as Mentalligence, and the energy the child acquired through education or academic knowledge is the intelligence. So the child should know the data science, and the child is given chance to learn and to manage the uncertainty that is coming from the surroundings or environment, or the uncertainties which helps the child for sustainable living. Such a balanced education is achieved through this KLMN SWASTIK model. This is the cultivation of Mentalligence part. So the proper visionary input supply should be given to that particular VEPTN nerve. The nerve may connect the brain and the heart. The nerve may connect the brain and the heart should be identified, and it should be processed through KLMN SWASTIK. So this is the KLMN SWASTIK process, and the processing unit may be found in heart portal or in the brain portal, or it may be in the spinal cord, which acts as an intermediate interface between heart and the brain. So if any problem arises in the spinal cord or in that particular nerve, then obviously the child becomes unhealthy, both body and mind. So we have to identify that particular nerve, and we have to remove the bitterness or unwanted unhealthy input, clear that input, take rest for a while, and give proper visionary inputs so that it gets vital energy or divine energy to transform from bitterness creating input to willingness creating input. So this is that main part and main portion for this conference. We have to identify that nerve, and we have to give proper healthy input. Through education, I would like to give inputs for developing healthy Mentalligence using mind pedagogy. The Mentalligence, the mind pedagogy, is used for the growth and development of that energy that is generated from the heart portal, and that energy I call it as Mentalligence. It is the ability to realize the intelligence. It helps to change from bitterness to willingness. It is the ability to take charge towards a self-transformation. So we need not wait to become the child to become adult for such mental growth. It is a mind pedagogy. When the child is growing, it should also be nurtured. So the KLMN SWASTIK helps us to be prepared for any time mental challenges from anywhere. For this transformation process or changing process, I have introduced and designed a game board, snake and ladder game board. The game board consists of 100 boxes. In between the boxes, the visionary leaders have been placed. The experienced learner who is playing along with the child can help the child by telling the contributions of those visionary leaders and how they removed their bitterness that are caused in their lifetime, and how they are transformed into such a great man is also taught to that particular child during the game. So the ladder represents the rejuvenating attitudes, and the snake represents the bitterness creating attitude. So that I would like to explain box number 1. It is a start or beginning of the game, or it is the beginning of a new character, or it is the beginning of transformation changing portal. So box number 98, it contains that superiority complex or ego. Ego means everything is done because of me. So if we have that superiority complex, sometimes it may lead to destruction. So if it happens, it doesn't mean that we are a big failure, but we have to realize that attitude is the reason for that failure. So the new beginning or a new life begins from that destruction. So it is a natural science also, and in nature also, one form of energy is being converted to another form of energy. It doesn't mean that previous form is destroyed and the new form is born. Every form is existing, every form of energy is existing, but we do not realize the previous form. So like that, one form of energy, that negative energy, is removed, and new energy, that is rejuvenating energy, is cultivated. So that is the bitterness. Next, we make the child to move on. So in the ladder also, we have box number 46 and 48, we have forbearance. If we have that patience, then it leads to contentment, box number 66. These are all the mind pedagogical related game board. And finally, this is the truth the child should identify, and either the child can be a ladder or can become a snake. It is the choice on the child's hand. So we have to make the child, and I did not use any negative character displaying exemplary images on the board, but the child should realize that what will happen, and the positive healthy input should be given, and we can make the child to realize that in any one box in future you may also come and you may become a great visionary leader. So this table will help the child to acquire the Mentalligence. That Mentalligence is the ability to realize the intelligence will be nurtured by playing this game board snake and ladder. Thus, during education, the child will acquire the Mentalligence also. So the intelligence is also inculcated in children. Intelligence is the energy which is used to help the child to adapt to changes socially, economically and ecologically. Here also, we need not wait for the child to become adult to acquire such a Mentalligence and intelligence. KLMN SWASTIK helps the child to be prepared for any time intellectual challenges from anywhere. In today's modern education, we are giving importance to intelligence. Hence why the child at any age getting unhealthy inputs, the child does not know how to receive that unhealthy input, how to prevent himself from that unhealthy input. So that Mentalligence part, all of a sudden, we cannot also give that child. So it should be nurtured. Hence why we have to give a equal ratio, the balanced ratio of the development of Mentalligence and intelligence. The transformation should be done both in the mental development as well as the intellectual development. The self-transformation process, the child should be able to transform from that unhealthy input. First of all, the child should know the unhealthy input which is harmful to the body, mind and intellect, and then the child should switch from the unhealthy input to healthy input. So for that, a child needs extra energy, and that energy we have to give through education, through food, and the KLMN SWASTIK help the child to take charge on its own, both mentally and intellectually. I am calling it as willingness, so that the child can deselect the bitterness creating attitude and then reselect the willingness creating healthy inputs. This is the self transformation process that is happening inside the child on seeing the KLMN SWASTIK logo. Results: the formation of VEPTN, the construction of VEPTN. The consumer oriented culture causes this bitterness. The child can get that unhealthy input at any point of time. It can be removed by inculcating the contributive spirit of giving, sharing, and forgiving for the well-being of the child and for the well-being of others. Forgiving and forgetting is the clearing process, and that should be taught to the child, and that after the clearing process, the child needs rest, it is relaxation. The recreational activities help the child to come out from that block. So nurturing the child with positive characters and values may change the child mind's pedagogy. Now the discussion. I think you all accepted the point. The bitterness may happen at any point of lifetime, at any age, from any source. So when the child is able to know the bitterness, know the unhealthy inputs, and the child should be able to remove it, clear it, and switch from unhealthy input with healthy proper input, either by himself or by getting the help from the elders or experts, clinically or psychologically. So this is the discussion part. The bitterness must be removed, then only the child is transformed to imbibe the willingness and acquire the ability to contribute for its own happy and quality well-being. Cultivating Mentalligence using mind pedagogy makes every student strong and have healthy character built and be able to sustain till the lifetime without any risk of being damaged by the environment, causing bitterness and moving backward against humanity. Now we come to the conclusion part. Happy child makes happy world. Happy parents produce healthy child. The special children birth rate can be reduced. When the child grows with a bitterness and become a parent, then that child will produce only unhealthy child. So that the bitterness should be removed from the child itself, and we have to find out that dynamic nerve that makes the child a noble man. Then school dropouts may be reduced. This is what all about my research. Finding the dynamic nerve and giving constant, continuous, consistent supply of healthy, proper visionary inputs through body, mind, intellect will bring better human production for humanity, and the habitat will also be preserved by that child. Thank you. Finally, I would like to record my sincere thanks to Dr. T. Duraraj, Chairman, Mary Kanakam Memorial Educational Trust, Holy Cross Institutions, Kanduvai, Tamil Nadu, India, and the 17th International Conference team people, my parents and all the resource people who helped me, and the great Lord. So please all go through this KLMN SWASTIK, the mind pedagogical visual learning type model, and remove the bitterness and inculcate the willingness for happy quality life. Thank you.